So do you want to learn how to use Cricut Print Then Cut, or have you used it in the past but you need a little bit of a refresher? That's what we're going to do today. So if you are new here, you are crafting with Kim Byers. Let's pop into it. So I don't know about you guys, but this is one of my favorite tools in the Cricut arsenal outside of just cutting, vinyl and iron-on and those kinds of things, which I love, by the way. But Print Then Cut allows me to personalize and then cut out what looks like professional pieces of stationery. I used to go down to the stationery store all the time and get personalized cards, thank you cards, invitations, all the things. So if you guys have been crafting with me for a while, you probably know that, I used to do all the elaborate birthday parties and things for my kids. Well, they've outgrown that now, but there's still baby showers and wedding showers and all those kinds of things. And so for today's example, that's what we're going to do. We are going to decorate a baby shower. So Print Then Cut is really easy. So there's literally just three things that we need to do. We need to collect our materials, and then we need to go into Design Space and we can design whatever it is that we want to create. Today, again, a baby shower. And then we print it and we cut it out. There's a few tips and tricks in there to make sure that you get the best possible prints and that kind of thing, but it is super simple. So let's pop into it. And by the way, if you are having trouble with Print Then Cut, so your machine's not wanting to scan, it's not cutting, or it cuts and it's all wonky and wobbly, no fear, I've got a different video for you. I've popped it up above, and so I have 8 ways, easy ways, for you to be able to fix that issue and get back to crafting. Okay, so let's start with materials. So we are going to be using the Cricut Explore 3 today, and we're going to be using cardstock. And we have sticker paper and some other items here, printable vinyl. There's so many different things that Cricut offers to go with their machine. And by the way, there are a lot of materials out there, and I know that there are, but just know that if you buy Cricut branded materials to go with your Cricut, they were tested and tested and tested and tried and modified to make sure that they work perfectly and beautifully with their Cricut. So if you don't want to waste materials, money on materials that you're not quite sure of, it's always the best bet to get Cricut brand materials to go with your Cricut machine. Okay, so now that we've looked at our materials, let's go ahead and pop into Cricut Design Space. So these materials are all things that I designed specifically for Print Then Cut. But what if you want to take a cut item from Cricut Design Space and turn that into a Print Then Cut? So let's just look into images, and we will search Bee Baby Shower. And so we come up with all these beautiful designs. You can even see these are some that go with my set. But let's just grab this one, and we will add that to our canvas. Okay, and so now when we look over into navigation, you can see these are all the things that were already Print Then Cut, and then we have this as a basic cut. It is super easy to fix. So we have this, we will go up into Operation, drop down box, and Print Then Cut. And so now you can look back over into the layers panel and you can see that is a Print Then Cut. Basically, we have just flattened this image into one item. How many ever layers it was, it is now one layer. And I'm actually going to hide this because we're not going to make that one today, and we'll select Make. Now our designs are on our sheet, and you can see there's even some extra space in case you wanted to add a few more things, some more bumblebees, whatnot, and it will cut. See this red line? That is your cut line. Everything, as long as it's inside of that red line, you're good. And then these black are your bounding boxes. So if we look over into left-hand navigation, we can see our material size is 8.5 by 11, and we are ready to continue. So now we can send this to our printer. And this is when we want to get into the print setup. So we have selected our printer, and I'm actually going to use my Canon today, and you can add a bleed, which is already clicked on for this. Bleed is super important. Basically what it means is it gives a little extra edge of color all the way around your design. The other thing you can do is use your system dialog box. And when you do this, your printer dialog box will pop up. And if you're using a Mac, just so you know, sometimes it hides behind the Cricut window. You can check your printer, your default settings. Obviously, printing in color, double-sided is off. Paper size is 8.5 by 11. For my media, I want to click into this and I want to select my media type. And so I am going to choose photo. That's going to give me the most possible color. And then for quality, we're going to choose best. And we are ready to print. You can see the bounding boxes, and not only that, the bleed. So the design looks chunkier than it necessarily has to, and that's because there's a bleed all the way around each design. So now that our sheet has printed, we're popped into the second phase, which is setting the base material. If for any reason something goes wrong with your print, you don't have to cancel out of this. If you click on printed and send to the printer, you can send that same image back to the printer and get another print. Now that we're in step 2, what we want to do is select our material so that our machine knows what kind of material to cut through. So now in all of our materials, we're going to look at cardstock. For today, we are going to be using the medium cardstock of 80 pounds. Select done. And now you can see that's our fine point blade, and we are ready to go to the craft table. Now it's time for the fun. Now that we're on the craft table, let's make some party supplies. We're going to start by putting our design onto the mat. And we're going to put that in the true upper left corner. If you want your machine to read the bounding boxes correctly, it is so important that you put it in that upper left corner. And then maybe don't use your hands to put your materials down, but a brayer. A brayer would allow you to get a firm grip without getting any lotions or whatever might be on your hands onto your printout. And now we'll load our mat into our Cricut, and then we'll select go. And our machine will automatically start to scan those bounding boxes. So you saw the small light pop on. This is our sensor. And so it will read these small little boxes at the edges, and then it will remember where those cuts are that you put into Cricut Design Space. It's actually really, really cool technology. And now if you're having any trouble whatsoever with the scanning process or with the cutting, I have 8 ways you can correct that in the video up above. But look how amazing this is. You see that bleed all the way around, and the machine is cutting within the bleed. Now excuse the fact that my printer got a little scarring on these 2 cupcake toppers, but I didn't want to throw the whole thing away just for those 2. So I just printed out some additional ones as well. But look at this. It turned out so great. Do you see where the cuts are well within the bleed area? So I decided to cut out a few more of this collection's designs. I wanted to show you what I was talking about as far as going to the stationery store and getting thank you cards and place cards and all that kind of thing. So on this sheet, I have a place card, I have a thank you card, I have another cupcake topper, and some additional little like what will it be flag banners. I'm going to show you how to pull all of that together for our party. Okay, so let's unload this and let's look at how perfect, once again, this machine cut. So if we get really close, you're going to be able to see it cut all within the edges. See the little banner? There's no white anywhere outside of that. That's all bleed on the outside of that cut. Okay, so let's take it off of the mat. And these little cards, I designed these like postcards, but to go inside of envelopes. And so you can just flip them over and write on the back and then stick them in the envelopes. So super simple. You don't have to score anything, super simple. And then I have these little banners, and these are perfect for cupcake toppers. I really like to use these 3D foam adhesive squares and give these kinds of projects some lift. So what you could do is you can take the back of one of the honeycomb and put these little 3D foam adhesive squares on it. And we put it on, so how cute is that? So then we have that raised effect. And then we can do the same thing with what will it be. How sweet is that? Not only is it print then cut, you could put the name of the couple on it, you could put the babies, like boy or girl on it, you could put anything on it, personalize it any way you want to, and then just add that to a little bamboo skewer. Put that in your cupcake. You could also cut out those sweet little bees and then just put them onto the honeycomb, so you could have some cupcakes with little bees on them and then some cupcakes that say what will it be. And you can print this and cut this much larger, so it could be a cake topper. Whatever you can fit and imagine onto that 8.5 by 11 sheet, your Cricut will cut that for you. This is another favorite of mine. This is actually a place card, and I designed it so that the little bee's wing would pop up over the edge. And you can either cut out your name, which I just thought was really pretty and elegant, or you could write on it with pens, or you could even just write on it and attach it to the design, and then it would print with it. So you have tons of options there, and not only a place card, but this could be a food label. How cute, right? And then I did these. These are actually straw slips, so you could personalize them and put the person's name on it and then attach that to the straws or even to the base of a glass as a beverage marker. And then you have the little thank you cards, and these are postcard style. So I designed these. You can just write on the back of that and slip that into an envelope and thank everyone for coming to your party. Now don't forget, there's tons more in this set, including an invitation in Cricut Design Space, and I'll put the codes down below so that you can go and create your own party. I hope you enjoyed working with Cricut Print Then Cut. If you have any questions, as always, just pop down in the comments and leave that for me, and I'll do my best to help you out. My goal with this channel is to help you to craft with confidence, to enjoy all the things that you're doing, to test out new products and new machines, and just help you to be less frustrated and to have more fun. And if you'd like to learn more about Cricut Print Then Cut or other items with your Cricut, I'm going to pop a couple of videos up here for you, and I will see you in the next one.